Slipknot-Self Titled. I kind of realized that I haven't really done a metal album. I've done sort of an alternative rock one with my Arctic Monkeys, but I need to do some metal. So I decided to do one that I kind of know better than some others. Slipknot's self-titled, because it's also not too like it's Slipknot. What I mean by self-titled, in case you don't know, it just means it's an album that is the same name as their band, self-titled. That's what that's called. So we're gonna talk about Slipknot's self-titled album. Came out in 1999. This is a new metal band. I mean, I guess they're posers now. With barely under a runtime. It has a runtime of maybe 55 minutes. Has 15 songs. 1 to 15 goes. This first one's 742617000027. That is the first song. And that goes into Sick, Eyeless, Wait and Bleed, Surfacing, Spit It Out, Tattered and Torn, Me Inside, Liberate, Prosthetics, No Life, Diluted, Only One, Scissors, and Eeyore. We'll get to some of these. What I love is this is probably one of the greatest intros, as in the first song on the album, because there's a lot of albums that the first song is literally called intro. On Billie Eilish's first album, it's literally her talking to the other dude and is like, I just took Invisalign out and this is the album, and then it goes straight into the next song. This one, it's a 35-second little cut of alarms blaring in the background, and it's this voice, and it's saying, the whole thing is sick. The whole thing I think is sick. The whole thing I think is sick. It's saying that over and over again. It goes really high. The Lord, I think is sick. And then it goes really low. Oh, the world, I think is sick. It gets really low, really high, disoriented. And then it goes into the second song called Sick. And then you're immediately hit with the slash guitars and the speed, and then it's just into Eyeless, and then it goes into Wait and Bleed, and then it goes into Surfacing, then it goes into Spitting Out. That is one of the greatest back to back songs I've ever seen on an album. A lot of songs on albums, it goes 2 good songs, maybe a worse one, great one, worse one. This one, it's a banger, 5 bangers in a row. And it's kind of cool is, for one, yes, it is kind of a death metal-y, they're screaming at you. I mean, everyone has their limit, and I'm willing to listen to other new metal beyond. There is, of course, I have my limit too, but this is about there. I'm fine with it. Corey, screaming into the mic, like on Wait and Bleed, the entire verse is just literally just he is screaming into it really hard. And you also get a little bit of rapping almost on Spit It Out. He's spinning off lyrics. It's funny, a lot of this album is about government and corrupt government. That's what a lot of this album is about. And it's cool, Another thing I should mention, the members of the band at this point, there's always been 9 members, but ever since then to now, the only ones that have stayed are 4 of them, I think. If I'm thinking of it right. Corey, Mick, what's his name? I can't think of his name. Anyway, I won't worry about it right now, but, you know, only 4 members, I believe, have stayed since this album even came out. I don't even know if Sid is still there. But, you know, Mick and the other guitarist. I can't think of his name for some reason. I don't know why I can't think of his name. But, anyway. What's kind of cool. And yes, it is 9 members. You don't need 9 members to have a heavy band, right? But you've got a DJ, 2 percussionists that play like a timpani almost, like a timpani out on the set. I mean, sometimes even Chris would have a marching snare. It's crazy, and you know, and of course, I feel like I should mention this. Rest in peace to Joey Jordison and Paul Gray. Drum. Well, something I should say. I have mentioned Joey Jordison before, and he's one of the greatest, especially when it comes to metal. Maybe not rock, but metal. He's one of the greatest metal drummers, if not the greatest. One thing I will mention, just because you have speed doesn't mean that you are a good drummer. Joey Jordison has speed, but he is a good drummer. There's differences. Joey, for one, his double pedal work is some of the most insane things you'll ever hear. Ever. And it's insane. It really is. You hear a song, and then you hear just a Mick, you know, him by himself. Guitars comes in, Joey's hitting on the hi-hat, you know, and then all of a sudden everyone's in your face, and Joey is the one that you can hear the most. A lot of people don't notice the drums on a lot of songs. Slipknot songs, you'll notice the drums just due to the amount of power they have. And it's always loud too. He's always loud. He's insanely good. Insanely good. Don't worry. Another thing I should mention, Scissors is an 8-minute song. It is a slow song at start. Gets faster, slow. That is a dark song. I'm gonna leave it at that, but it's a darker song. Prosthetics is kind of like it, almost. But I mean, like, Spit It Out, Only One, even No Life are kind of the same. But I mean, the most notable stuff on this album is of course the first 5 being Sick, Eyeless, Wait, Bleed, Surfacing, Spit It Out. But I mean, Only One's pretty prominent, No Life's pretty prominent, but those are the main 6, I feel like, 5. This is like the main 5. Almost every show that you would go to you would hear these 5. Maybe not in this row, but I mean, I know most shows, they always start out with the first 2. Almost always, but I mean, Corey's vocals are just beautiful, even whenever he's not necessarily screaming. But there's also a lot of diverse. There's grunge, there's rap, metal, I guess you'd put metal. The chaos all over it, the fever pitches, and the perfect storm planet. Each has a perfect storm in a way, and then you have the ferocious vocals by Corey, and then all those sludgy little paints all over the wall of the guitar, and then inside the room you can just feel the drums. You can feel them almost, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into the stuff, and Slipknot is a great band. I know a lot of people wouldn't like them. I like them. They're alright. A lot of people wouldn't. Another thing to be noticed, though, a lot of people, I personally think this is their best album. But some people would disagree. But this Des Moines, They were founded in '95. They had a record before that, but it's never. It's like a SoundCloud only thing. I've never actually listened to it. But you know, Corey Taylor, and I think that obviously 2 members died, but I mean the only other members of the band that are remaining are 4 other members. Each other member was replaced at some point. Sean was one of the people who started the band. He stayed. Corey has stayed the entire time. But you know, it's whatever, I guess. But yeah, this is a great band. Joey, one of the most craziest ever to do it, ever. I don't know. Joey's insane. Very good on the drums. Very good on the drums. But enough said. I gave this album a 9 out of 10. Maybe a 9.1. This album has emotion. And it's important that albums have emotion. Now, whenever I say that, I don't all mean one emotion necessarily. I just mean an album that would make you feel sad, you listen to it. An album that makes you feel angry, you listen to it. This album has that emotion. Maybe a little bit of angry, maybe a little bit of sadness, maybe a little bit of just straight rocking and rolling, and you know, and a drop top, you know, cruising the block, bumping this. But if you're a metal fan, or at least trying to get into metal, this is something I would touch base on. All in all, Slipknot, self-titled.